Hello and welcome to the show. For this week's FailRace versus the community, it was the battle of the manufacturers, Chevrolet versus Dodge, as we start at the Road Atlanta circuit. The turn one can often be an interesting one out here. The brown Nova very nearly got in trouble across on the braking zone across the grass. Easy to have the back of the car tip sideways if you brake it a little bit wrong. A few cars further back did get in a little bit of bother. On the most part though, turn one was not too bad as we all head down the fast S's trying to go side by side. This Corvette had a huge amount of corner grip, one of the fastest cars through the turns. The problem is, well, you compromise your build somewhere. You have that amount of grip, you're probably going to be lacking the straight line speed. And sure enough, Nova straight back past. The Camaro's up on the outside. They're always going to go three wide as the Corvette is then very quick through the next corners. Runs out a little bit of space as everything is getting all very crowded indeed. And then as we head down the main straight, well, then that's where you're going to really struggle. Johnson was joining us in this one. That was the white Corvette that just flashed past and is buggering off down the straight. His thing was stupendously fast in a straight line. Unlike this particular Corvette, it's about to come under threat from yet another car as we head into the break zone. I think the said car actually might have had to have a big lift going over that crest. Does happen to some of the more difficult to drive cars, shall we say. And let's come to the braking zone. And of course, the Corvette is massively better under brakes than just about anything and will catch up. This Dodge Dart was one of the cars that sadly got in trouble on the opening lap. Was very quick though and keen to make his way back through the field as we see yet again three wide into the braking zone. They all get away with it once more heading down this particular back straight. Yeah, plenty of overtaking going on at some of the more unusual corners. That particular turn saw quite a lot of action in the opening laps where it's not the preferred, shall we say, overtaking spot. Of course, a big dive into the chicane is where a lot of the action tends to happen. Turn one also a relatively popular place. The Corvette was struggling. While a very quick car, the problem was he was often stuck in battles where he couldn't make the most of his speed through the turns, would be compromised there, come to a straight, and then everything would pull away from him. Basically, it was in a lot of bother trying to get through the field. It's just sometimes the way that it can go. Heading around turn one, it is the white Chevrolet to the outside of the Dodge Coronet, but not quite able to get it fully alongside, get it fully past. He throws it around the outside of the top of the hill, almost makes it stick, just asks that little bit too much of the car, skates it across the grass, has to go and then fall back into line. Now comes the Dodge Dart that had been catching this group very quickly. There was a challenger keen to join in, drive a San Francisco style challenger, I believe, as we head down this shorter back straight. It is the Dart going to have a crack at the inside, doesn't have the corner speed of the Corvette, but now the Corvette's blocked in by the giant red and white car. Will eventually get his nose past that huge Dodge. Problem is, he's got his nose past now, and they've come to a really long straight. Off goes the Dart, soaring past. Okay, not the craziest overspeed, but still, that thing's going to be past. The Challenger made the most of his opportunities. That'll go past, and guess what? Has all that hard work, and it's straight back past once more. It's the way that it goes sometimes. It can be incredibly infuriating, although often quite good fun battles like that. I had been gifted the lead when the Challenger at the front fell off the road. My Dart was pretty good through the corners. In fact, I could kind of just about keep Johnson at bay through the corners. The problem was when we got to the straight bits, and his Corvette was significantly faster down these shorter straights. Again, I could fend him off, I could hold him wide around these next turns, and he didn't have the grip to do anything about it. But much as we saw with the poor Corvette that had no straight line speed in comparison between me and that, as soon as we came on this long back straight, that's that's the Dart pretty much done for. There's this huge amount of straight line speed. How Johnson was keeping that thing even vaguely pointing in the right direction. I don't know how. I do know how, because he's a bloody good driver. The Corvette must be an absolute handful through the turns, but it was mighty quick, and sure enough, he would go on to take the victory in race 1 here. I got myself into a little bit of bother, as the Corvette would come round, the Challenger would claim the 2nd place. I got a little bit carried away around the final turn, ran wide and smacked the tyre bundle. Now, weirdly, unlike normal where it grabs the car and fires it back into traffic, it didn't do that to me. It just broke all of the front of my car. The aero, the brakes, the suspension was all gone. So the final lap I was driving a very, very poorly Dart, and I was coming under threat from some Chevrolets. I was desperately trying to keep my car in the 3rd place. I wanted to get another podium for the Dodge, but I had no match for the mighty Nova. I tried my very best. I threw it at the final corner, and while I had a huge amount of quarter speed in comparison to the white car, it wasn't enough. It was not enough at all, and I would have to settle for 4th. Race number 2, and we would head to the Lime Rock circuit, a relatively technical circuit, and with a lot of us driving big, heavy muscle cars, a interesting challenge. Now, I had 2 relatively kind starting spots on the grid. Unfortunately, things would go wrong in this race further back. The lead 2 would make their way through, no problem. Further back, someone got spun from about 5th place in front of the field, which stacked everybody up. I managed to get away in the Dart, but yeah, a little bit of mayhem further back, as you can see. Front lot making the best of the getaway. The Viper here able to carry some serious corner speed. The Camaro, though, at the front had that all-important straight line speed and could just about get far enough away from the Viper. So the Viper would close right up to its bumper as it got to the exit of the corner. The Camaro would then pull away again. We see a very similar story around the final corner. Viper's right there. Viper's pretty much pushing the Camaro on the exit of that corner. In fact, it's probably the best chance the Viper had through the entire race to have a big dive up the inside. Just wasn't quite close enough, quite brave enough to have a big go. Camaro would then cover the inside while I went a little bit wide in the Dart further back. After the kerfuffle that went on lap 1, the rest of the field would sort themselves out and beginning fighting. Johnson driving the rusted Dart that you see here, trying to go around the outside of a Challenger. The Nova we're following here, looking for any opportunity he had to draw alongside the Dodge, and sure enough, the Challenger really struggling with this much more technically demanding circuit. The Nova thinks about getting up the inside, can't quite do it, as one of the cars there, Camaro, has a big off. Easy to do at that particular section, especially. You just drop a wheel over the edge of the curb onto the grass, and you will be in all sorts of trouble. Done it myself a few times. Yeah, it's an easy mistake to make it, as a few cars got into trouble. The Nova would move up. In fact, the Challenger would come under increasing threat throughout this, as a Dart goes very sideways in all of that. The purple car gets a huge wiggle around the final corner. When the pack is as closely bunched as it is here, that big slide going to cost the Dart 2 places. The Nova also keen to have a dive up the inside. The Chevrolet ASS very wide around turn 1. The purple Dart trying to get a good run around the outside, but not able to do it. I think there's a Dodge Neon in the background. Went for a little bit of an explore, but now they're trying to go 3 wide through the exit of this section. It's the Nova's turn to get in trouble out wide, as the Dart would pick back up one of those positions, chasing back after the blue Nova through the uphill section. But yeah, around a track like this one, there's a little bit of a brush up of a wall. A little mistake can cost you a number of positions. This group would be continuing their fighting for position. They'd catch up to the Fast and Furious Charger. A very quick car in a straight line, but doesn't really have the suspension, the handling, to deal with the demands of Lime Rock. The Challenger was kind of staying with these guys to an extent because, well, that incredible straight line speed also helped when they're, fighting such vigorous battles as this one, with the 2 Novas swapping places. They now go on the charge against that Raid Charger. Not sure I particularly want to be stuck on the outside of the Raid car. Everybody's going sideways. The Challenger's got caught on the curb. The Raid Charger's done a little bit of exploring. The Neon's caught up to this group and is trying to join in the fun, as the Blue Nova stuck on the outside. Does get the move done, though. Can just carry that much more corner speed to get the pass complete. And this group was perhaps the most exciting group of the lot to watch. The challenger was trying to make the most of his straight line speed on the run into the first corner. A good opportunity to draw alongside the dart, but the dodge a little bit, or the purple dodge I should say, a little bit too good around the corners, able to hold on to the position around the outside. They were about to get caught up with the Fast and Furious raid car as they leave this technical opening section. The raid car, as you can see, really struggling with these turns, and Neon continues to go exploring across the grass, but that straight line speed, the straight line speed of the green machine made it awkward. It made it a pain to try and find a way past. I was towards the front of the field, holding on to second place. An 02 Camaro had blasted past the lot of us to take the lead. I was busy trying to look for a way past second. I had the speed in the dart, I could carry the corner speed, but much like the Viper who had tried earlier, I was having a tough time finding a way past. Bigger nuisance for me was the Corvette behind. The C4 was much better through the corners than I, but a little bit slower in a straight line. I was faster than the Camaro through the corners, but likewise slower in a straight line. And unfortunately for me, as soon as I went on the offensive against the Camaro, it opened the door for an attack from the Corvette. The C4 would draw alongside, thinks about trying to get up the inside. I can't quite get my car stopped on that outside line. Still we go side by side, and all of this helps the Camaro run away ahead of us. I'd have to in the end, well, give up. I tried my very best to hold it on the outside, couldn't do it. Bounced my way across the grass, got away back on track before hitting the horrible tyre bundle. Then the Corvette has a massive wobble coming out of the final turn, bounces a wheel across the curb. That gives me all the opportunity that I need to fire back past with the Dart's slight better straight line speed of the two. I tried to get the car to the inside, doesn't quite work. I know I'm running wide, so I'm kind of okay with running wide through turn one a little bit. The Corvette can get his car alongside there, but I know for turn two he's going to have to go the long way round, and while the Corvette is better than the Dart through the turns, I can still give him a decent run for his money and make life a little bit awkward. And I would get the place back. Exciting battle, but quite difficult. At the front, it would be the grey Camaro that would go on to take a victory. The two Camaros up ahead were vehicles lapped down who had to take a trip to the pits. It was a very good showing from the Camaro. Too fast for the rest of us. Helped that we were stuck in traffic, but none of us really had an answer to the grey car. As far as the closest finish goes, this a little bit further back, I think around 6th, 7th place between this pair, Fast and Furious Corvette against a Camaro running around the final turn. Camaro manages to get himself to the inside, just about draws alongside, but doesn't quite have the legs down the straight to beat the Corvette for the position. I believe Johnson was up ahead of these guys. He lost a little bit too much time early on to quite catch up to the leaders. Fairly sure he got fastest lap in all of it regardless. Kind of not surprising really. And our third and final race. We would head to the Sebring full circuit. Been a while since we have headed out to here. Unfortunately, we would have some lag issues at the start of the race. A rare bug, but one that does come up from time to time. You will see a Fast and Furious Corvette cannot see some of the vehicles around it. That spins out another one of the C2s that had me scrambling across the grass to try to avoid, but you'll see it as we go through this next couple of corners. You can't see the Bel Air. The way that the cars interact is completely unnatural. It just shunts the Bel Air straight out of the way. Like, you can't do that if you tried. The Bel Air getting flung across the track, and this causes some chaos for those of us that can see the cars being flung around. It was, a little bit of a messy start. Considering all that, I think everyone did quite a good job of getting through the chaos to make it down this first long straight. Big braking zone here. Big test for the vehicles on the opening lap. The Camaro we're following gets bounced and bobbles his way across the curb, but it just about does the trick. He's still holding it alongside the Charger and almost gets the pass done. Has to try and go the long way around. It's where the puddle of doom would be if it was in the wet. Does though finally get that pass complete before the next corner. Underbrakes the C4, would spot an opportunity to fire his car up the inside as well. There was a fair bit of the field spreading out, as you can imagine, in the opening stages, especially at a circuit such as this one. For me, I had a lot of work to be trying to catch back up the field. I got to dodge about 3 cars having their own issues on the opening lap. This Viper frantically trying to find a way past a Camaro, but to no avail, as a Chevelle would get a much better run coming down this straight. Chevelle with some straight line speed, I imagine a fair amount of power, can get past the Viper, thinks about having a go up the inside of the Camaro, will get that move done as well with a better drive out of the hairpin. 2 for, well, 2 in 1 straight is pretty good going. Is pretty good going indeed for that Chevelle, although got to be wary of the Camaro firing back quickly. Towards the front of the field, Johnson, this time driving a 02 Camaro, was looking for opportunities to pick his way through the order, and sure enough, spots one heading towards the final straight. Have a dive up the inside of the white Camaro, gets the pass done relatively cleanly. As far as the whole Dodge versus Chevy thing, there was a challenger leading the way here. Chevys were doing quite well at Sebring. This was second, third as Johnson moves up a place, I believe. Fourth with the C4 Corvette that tries fighting back on these. I might be a little bit further down, actually. I think there might be a couple of other cars up ahead of this group. Either way, I think it was mostly Chevrolets on the front of this one. The C4 Corvette had a try up the inside. There's a lagged out ghost car going on. The joys of Forza for you, everybody. He had to go up the inside, but couldn't quite make it work in the end. That's a blue Camaro, just a little bit too fast. The battles of the Viper would begin. This for around the lower parts of the top 10, as these two would be exchanging for position. The purple Viper a little bit quicker, trying to find a way past as we head down this long straight, although the brown car is able to position himself where he wants to defend into the hairpin. It's a crisscross move going on from the purple Viper. The brown car not quite sure where to go in all of that. It's actually a very, very good move from the purple car. I think the brown car is kind of trying to move back onto the normal racing line. However, through all of that, the purple car's still not got the move kind of cleanly done. He had a good chance. The brown car with enough acceleration is another big dive under braking, trying to get it down at the inside, clobbers the inside curb, and that gets you that bit of oversteer. You can't get the power down quite well enough. It'll drop you a bit further back from where you really want to be. And for now, the brown car was doing a great job of holding off for position. This was the battle going on for second place. I apologise. It was still between Chevrolets. There was a lot of Chevrolets at the front of the field. Camaro, big dive up the inside of that C4. Would, again, draw alongside, but trying to get that pass done cleanly at the hairpin was proving to be a little bit difficult. As you see, once again, the C4 Corvette here fighting back. They're still going to go side by side. He has to go the long way round, but the C4, very, very good through the corners, able to hold its own, and if he can keep his car there, he'll be on the inside for the next part. He can't quite do it, though. Can't quite squeeze past, and all of that fighting has, well, that's brought Johnson into the little bit of a group. Not necessarily the car you want to see directly behind you when battling for that second place. The C4 gets himself in trouble across the curb. It's easy to do here at Sebring, that one of the more notorious curves for getting you into trouble. It just bounces the car. It's not a big accident, not a big spin. It's just enough to throw the car sideways. Does a good job of catching it, and Johnson managed to get out of the way before smacking into the back of that car. But yeah, just getting that little bit caught out. For me, it wasn't a great race. As I said at the start, the first lap where I was dodging other people's accidents dropped me a long way down the order. That being said, I ended up having quite a lot of fun fighting with a Bel Air. The Chevy, very quick in a straight line, very on 2 wheels through the corners, as was my Dart, actually, often around here. I could close up massively. It was a really big lunge from me up the inside, trying to get a pass done as we weave our way through these corners. Would finally get the Dodge alongside and past. Problem was, I had all the corner speed. The Bel Air had all the straight line speed, and as we head up towards the final corner, I'm no match for that Bel Air. I needed to be a lot further ahead of it by the time we got to this point on the circuit. if I was going to be able to beat it. But nevertheless, while a little bit infuriating at times, was a lot of fun, actually. You know, you make the best of a bad situation. At the front, though, of the field, the victory would go to a Dodge challenger. Dodge finally taking a win in this battle. A relatively commanding victory for the challenger. Johnson's Camaro was, I think, a little bit quicker over the course of a lap, but ran out of time to do too much about catching that challenger. Camaro third, C4 in fourth. It was... yeah, quite a strong showing for Corvette here, for Chevrolet, sorry, here at Sebring. I think my Dodge might have been the next highest one after the victory victory there. So, yeah, Dodge didn't do so well when it came to Sebring. However, that is going to be it for this video. If you want to watch the video from Johnson's perspective, he's going to have a video on his channel. I shall be linking that one in the description, so you can check that out for yourself. If you want to take part in the next versus the community, that can be, or you can sign up for that on our forum. It is going to be held on Thursday, the 7th of September. We're going to be on Forza Horizon 3, racing some A-class beasts. The vehicles must weigh over 4,000 pounds. So we're going to have some big old heavyweights going racing and rallying and whatever other mean stuff I can make them do. Maybe I'll find the nice, tightest, nastiest circuit for the normal sort of fail race way. If you want to sign up to that, as I said, go to our forums, find the FailRace versus the community section, and yeah, you can sign up in there. There'll be a link to that, of course, as well in the description. That's going to be it from me, though. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.